tutorial, we're going to be covering these last 4 paragraphs of our content section. So we have a paragraph. This is actually a block quote, and then a paragraph. So let's go ahead and flesh out the HTML for each of these next. So after our call out box, we're still inside of our content section. We'll add a paragraph tag, and we're gonna have 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. We look back here at our mock-up again. 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, and then a block quote in the middle. So 1, 2, and then right here we'll have a block quote, and we'll close off that block quote. All right, so let's go ahead and paste in the content. It's just the lorem ipsum text for each of these. So we'll come up here to this first one, and we'll just copy this right here and paste that into our first paragraph. Let's grab the lorem ipsum for the second one. And they're all just fairly close. The size is just slightly different on the paragraphs, really is the only difference in here. And we'll get this third one, which is our block quote. And lastly, we'll snag the last paragraph. Whoops, if I can select that just right. And this last paragraph is just going to be 2 of these. Okay, so there's all of our content. Let's save that and jump back to our browser and refresh. And whoops, must have refreshed too soon. There we go. And so there's all of our text down there. And now we just need to flesh this out to add some of that styling into this. So this should be fairly easy. So we'll jump over here to our CSS Styles panel, and our style sheet rather. Let's jump down here to the bottom of this sheet. And all of this is inside of paragraphs tag. So I'm going to call content space P. So anytime there's a paragraph tag, I want to have a margin top and bottom of 1em, left and right of 0. So let's save that and refresh, and that should just space each of these out. And there's not too much special that we need to worry about these things. Really the only thing, if we look at our mock-up, is our top paragraph is kind of bold and bigger. These two, the bottom and the middle, are the same, and then the block quote is a little bit different. So let's start with the top one. So the top one is different, so we need to add a class to that. So we'll come down to this top and we'll say class equals lead for the lead paragraph. We'll come back to our style sheet down here to the bottom, and then we're going to say content p.lead. And what this means is the class of lead that's on a paragraph, that's a child of the content element. And we're just going to increase the font size. So we'll say font size, and maybe we'll make this 1.2 ems, and we're going to make it bold. So we're going to say font-weight bold. Let's save that and come in here and refresh. So that's our lead paragraph. And this is a paragraph. This is going to be our block quote. So next we'll do the block quote, because there's nothing special about those other paragraphs. So we'll say content block quote. And this thing is going to have quite a bit of a margin left. So we'll increase the margin left maybe to, let's say 4ems for now. We'll probably adjust that. And the color here of this is going to be this green color from our item up here. So let's get our eyedropper tool and sample that green, so we can copy and paste that over for the color here of the font. And whoops, I forgot my colon there in the middle. And we'll save that and jump back here and refresh. So that's looking pretty good there. There's our lead, there's that paragraph, our block quote, and our bottom paragraph. So nothing too fancy or different than our mock-up here. The one difference is our body copy inside of here is quite a bit smaller. So this is only 12-point font, and our regular in here is, in here is a little bit bigger. So we could squeeze down the font size if we wanted to of all of this. And so our callout box has a lot of space above and below, maybe a little much. You could decrease those margins if you wanted that to be a little bit tighter. Our lead, our paragraph, block quote, and our section. So that's the entire content section, pretty well mapped out. And the one thing I'm going to change here in this content section is just this top margin here. I feel like this web design and this logo is just a little bit too close to the top. And so I'm going to space that a little more so it more closely matches this left margin. So way back up here in our CSS sheet on that content div, I'm going to increase the padding to the top and bottom to the same 20 pixels. So all the way around that content box, we're going to have a 20 pixel padding. I think that's a little bit pleasing, more pleasing. Same thing over here with this sidebar. So we'll scroll down a little bit. Actually, that's clear down at the bottom. The side, I'm just going to make that 20 pixels all the way around as well. So this has the same amount of padding. And that's pretty much it for the content box. So the next set, we'll be looking at this sidebar.